Hey guys, welcome back to No Catch Name. It's me, Ella. Today is Monday morning. It is November 10th. I had a market this past Saturday, which was the 8th, and I'm here to talk about it. I just want to insert something funny. I'm sitting here in front of my window, and it's really cold here today. It's like in the 20s, which is weird for us in November. We might get snow later. But I'm just standing here, and all of a sudden a blue balloon just went by the window. And I looked out the window and there's nobody out there. It's just a random balloon just went by the window. Anyways, that was weird. But yeah, so I had a market and it was a really cool one. It was in the town next to me, which is a much bigger town than I live in. And it was a hot air balloon festival. It was so fun. I want to insert clips of stuff that I took clips of. And yeah, so it started at 12 p.m. and it ran through 9 p.m. But vendors could leave at 5 p.m. or whenever they wanted after that. I paid the booth fee, which was $100, which is the highest booth fee I've ever paid so far, a few months ago. So that booth fee does not come out of the money from the market. It came out of the money I made that month. Just saying that real quick. Yeah, so anyways, we showed up around 8:30 maybe in the morning, because setup was between 8 and 11:30. And I always get there as early as possible because you never know what might happen. And I'm always want to be prepared for like the worst case scenario. And I paid for an outdoor booth, which I'm super glad I did. There were two buildings that were indoors, and then the outside. And the reason I paid for outside, even though I knew it was November and it could be cold, is because the balloons are outside and people are going to be outside. And I'm glad that I did that, because the inside vendors, especially the building across from me, didn't get very much foot traffic at all. Partially because a lot of people didn't know they were in there, because there were no signs or anything saying that that's where vendors were. But yeah, anyways, so we got there, and we the coordinator hadn't really set up spots for people yet. She did a decent job coordinating, but she also kind of fumbled a few bits of it, and placement of vendors was one of them. So we basically got to pick where we wanted to be, and there just happened to be this one little shed with electricity and plugs that she said you can set up in the shed, or you can set up beside the shed, or wherever. And so like me and Devin was like, okay, we don't have to deal with our canopy, we'll set up in the shed. And the first half of the market, I felt like that we made a big mistake doing that, because I felt like we were kind of hidden from people. But then once traffic picked up closer to when it was getting dark, it turned out to be a good thing, because we had a good light and we had a place to charge my phone and stuff. And if I had known that we were going to be where electricity was, I would have brought some like cute twinkle lights maybe, and some my electric blanket, because it was a little cold, but it wasn't as cold as it is now. But yeah, so we set up, and I'll put up a video of my setup real quick. Ignore me. And then we waited. So the market didn't start officially until 12, so I just sat and crocheted. I actually crocheted 5 dragons and a turtle shell the first half of the market, because it was really slow. The first half is horribly slow. So I didn't make my first sale until almost 2, and I was getting really nervous, because I was like, we've been here for a while. Usually I make sales before the market starts, because vendors are walking around, and a lot of people did walk around and was looking, but no one came to look, like inside to look. I was getting nervous, and I was like, oh man, maybe this is a bad market. But finally at 1:40 something, I made my first sale, and it was an axolotl. I'm gonna pop up pictures, and if you have any questions about the patterns, let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know who they are, because it's just a pain in the butt to link them all down below. But so my first sale between 1 and 2, the only sale I made, was an axolotl to a little boy. So, woo, I made that, and I was super excited about getting a sale, because I was worried I wasn't going to make any because of how slow it was. But then in my mind I was also thinking, this is a hot air balloon festival. The balloons don't go up until 5, so I was thinking around then is when things are going to pick up, and it did. So anyways, for the people who just want to know about the numbers, the first half of the market was super slow, and then it did pick up. But my total number for the day, I took in $558 plus a $3 tip. $317 was on Square, and $241 was in cash, and my Square fees was $10.94. So that's my total take for the day, which I was happy with. I thought it was going to be more. I thought it was going to be a bigger event, but half of the event nobody was there because everybody was waiting for time for the balloons, which makes sense in my head now. So if I do this event next year, I can be more prepared for that. But yeah, so now I'm going to break down everything that I sold. So like I said, the first sale that I made between 1 and 2 was the axolotl. And then between 2 and 3 p.m. I sold my jumbo plant that I've had for a while for $25. I sold my last Mothman. I had plans to make more Mothman, but my husband has yet to paint these eyes for me. I keep getting on to him about that. So I sold a Mothman and the hammerhead shark that I made recently together, and that was $33. Both of those were card transactions. Then between 3 and 4, I sold a mouse for $6 cash, a love cat for $15 cash, and then a possum and a pokeball for $12 possum, $10 pokeball, $22 cash, and that's the person who gave me a tip. He paid with $25 and he told me to keep the change, and he was super happy about the crochet stuff that he picked out, and he was just real excited about it. It's always fun when people are like that. And then between 4 and 5 is when it started picking up foot traffic. So 4 to 5 was a lot more sales. So first I sold a mouse for $6 and a spider for $8 together, $14 cash. Then I sold a chick with a frog hat and an elephant, $12 each. Oh wait, that person also bought a strawberry keychain for $6. So it was $12, $12, $6. So it was $30 on the card. Then I sold a chicken for $18 cash. Then a penguin for $12 cash. Then another little spider for $8 cash. Then someone got a dragon for $18 and a rubber duck for $10. That was $28 cash. Then I sold another penguin for $12 cash. And then I sold a penguin with a Santa hat for $10 cash. Then I sold 2 more penguins for $24 cash, or card, so they're $12 each. And then I sold a pickle keychain for $6 cash. So that was 4 to 5. And a lot of penguins sold. I made, Thursday and Friday before my market, I made 6 penguins. 5 of those 6 that I made sold. The 6th one would have sold if I could find it, but it was down in one of my bags, I couldn't find it. And then the one with the Santa hat I made last year, and it sold. So, like, all my penguins sold. I thought that was so funny. Okay, between 5 and 6, so this is once the balloons started getting aired up, and they're starting to do the rides, you know, where you could go up in the balloon. So I sold 1 snake for 15 cash. Card. I sold a standing bee. I've had that for a while. It's a Madeline Mako pattern. I made it a while ago. And I sold it for 20 on card. I sold another love cat for 15 card. Another possum for 12 card. I sold my zombie mermaid, the one I just made for BooTube Spirit Week, for 25 on card. The girl who bought that is the same girl who bought the big potted plant. She bought the plant earlier in the day, and she said she couldn't stop thinking about the mermaid, so she came back and got it. Then I sold another penguin for 12. I think that was the last one that I could find. And the same person who bought the penguin bought a tofu turtle for 12, so it was 24 on a card. Then I sold another love cat for 15 cash. And then 2 girls came in, teenage, maybe early 20 girls, and they both bought a crab together for 8 each, 16 card. Then I sold a brontosaurus and a bee. So the brontosaurus was 18, the bee was, I have it written down as 6, but it's what are the bees? I have that written down wrong. I think they're 8. I don't know why I wrote 6. What was that? I don't know. Anyways, it was a card transaction. I'll have to go look on my Square to see what that came up to. And then a crab for 8 card. So then 6 to 7, I sold a brontosaurus for 18 cash. An alien is big. I think it's Madeline Mako pattern. Alien for 15 cash. I've had that for a while. I sold a banana for 14 on a card. And then I sold a chicken with a strawberry hat for 12 cash. And then between 7 and 8, see, it started slowing down after people did their balloon rides. I sold another chicken with strawberry hat for 12 cash, a pickle for 8 cash, and then last sale was a little boy and a sister. His sister was like a 1-year-old maybe, and their parents were letting them pick out something to share. So he picked out a dragon for 18 card, and it was the red and black dragon. I thought that was cute. So that was all that together is my total of $5.58 plus a $3 tip. Yeah, so I was excited about that. And what was funny is, the coordinator told us that we had to be set up at 12, and vendors had to stay to 5. And she said in her email, I thought it was so funny, that she thought the main shopping time would be 12 to 5. And in my head, and I told Devin, I was like, I think it won't start until 5 to past 5, because that's when everybody, nobody's going to come at 12 and stay all day to ride the hot air balloon. And so it was dead most of the day, up until like 4 o'clock is when people started really coming. But at 5, a lot of the other vendors left. And I thought that was absolutely crazy. Probably half of the vendors left. And actually another crocheter was in the building right in front of me. And she said almost everybody in there, she came over, and she said everybody over there has left. And she was asking if it was okay with me if she brought her stuff outside of the building, because nobody was going in there, and to set up. And I thought that was really cool that she asked me, first of all, so that she wasn't like encroaching on my territory or whatever. And I told her it was fine. I didn't mind. She was mostly sewing stuff, and she had a few crochet things, so she did bring her stuff outside. And then later another crocheter came who was in that building, and she said she only made one sale the whole day. And she said that she only had worsted weight plushies. Are they called plushies? Amigurumi? And she hasn't started making the plushie ones yet. And she was sharing a booth with one of her friends who were selling crystal things. And she said her friend was making sales, but she only sold one thing. I felt so bad for her. But, so I had 2 other crocheters come up and talk to me. And I know there was another crocheter in the other booth that was down here building, but she made like shawls and scarves and stuff. But I don't know. I just felt really bad for the people in the buildings, and I'm so glad. I have watched other people's market videos, and they always say that if you have the option of indoor or outdoor booth, to always take an outdoor booth, because when it's a nice day, and it was in the 60s, beautiful day, and the balloons were outside. And they had like a train ride for little kids, and they had those things that you strap a kid to and they like bounce, I don't know what those are called. And they also had a wrestling match. I forgot to say that. It was set up right in front of us, a wrestling match. Which was totally random. I thought it was like a random thing to have at an event like this. It's better to be outside because it's where all the people are, and it's where all the food trucks are. And so when people are standing around waiting for their ride on the balloon, they're going to be buying food and eating it, So, moral of the story, always pick an outside booth. Because inside, especially this event, they didn't have any signs on the building saying where the vendors are at or anything. And it was a big fairground, so there's tons of buildings, but only 2 was being used. So, I felt really bad for the people inside. So, a lot of them left. But we stayed until we started packing up at 7 something, because the foot traffic died down. And I told Devin, and it was getting really cold, we were freezing. It was like in the 30s at this time. And I was like, let's just go ahead and pack up. So we did, and that was a good thing, because, foot traffic had died down a lot. And, yeah, so I was happy. I thought it, at first today, I thought it was going to go really bad. And I always hate it when markets are bad, because I feel like we could have stayed home and had fun as family instead of sitting outside all day. But we did end up making $550, and that's going to help towards the cause, which is helping my family. So, all in all, it was a good day. It just started off slow, and I feel really bad for the vendors who didn't get much traffic. There was also a reborn baby vendor there, which I've never even seen that before. And a family who came to us, and they bought, I'm trying to remember if they bought anything. I can't remember. She was talking to us. They were from Alabama, Birmingham area, so like 3-4-ish hours away from us. They came up to the market just specifically for that reborn vendor, because she had a granddaughter, and then like a really small granddaughter. The older one wanted a baby, and they bought the little one also, because, you can't buy one for one and not the other. And she said they spent over $500 on those dolls. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we did see a few of those baby dolls walking around throughout the day, so people were dropping money at that booth. And it was set up so cute. It was set up like a little hospital nursery. The little babies and all the people working it were wearing scrubs, and there was a bunch of little kids too, wearing little pink scrubs, and it was adorable. It was a really good sales pitch, and if June had been there, I know she'd have been begging for one. But, yeah, and there was a blacksmith, like, kind of right across from me. We heard him all night. He was, like, letting people make rail tie sticky things, the little nails, and, I would totally done that, too, if we weren't vendors. If we were just walking around shopping, I would have totally done that, because that would have been fun. But, all in all, it was a good day. We had fun, and it's always fun when me and Devin gets to hang out. Got to see the balloons, which is a lot of fun. And on the way home, we stopped at Dunkin's and got some hot chocolate, thanks to my friend Phyllis, who sent me a gift card. And and we drank hot chocolate, and we came home, unloaded everything, and then we went to pick up the kids. Well, June. Jesse stayed at my sister's, and then we went and got him yesterday. So, yeah. Now, my next market is this coming weekend, the 15th. It is an indoor market at a school, and usually I don't like school markets because they're usually slow, but this particular one I did last year, and it was ran really well, and there was a ridiculous amount of people, and there was only like 30 vendors. This year there's 70 vendors, and there's going to be more food trucks, and I think it's getting bigger. And because I was a vendor last year, I think that might have been their first year doing it, she put me in the gymnasium, which is the first room we walk into, so I was like, yes. I messaged her, asked her if I was going to still be there. I'm actually booth number 6, so I think I'm going to be along the first wall when you walk in. So they're going to have the gymnasium, the hallway outside the gymnasium, the cafeteria, and then in front of somebody's office. It says Miss Something's, someone who the people at school know who she is. But the first 300 people get a free tote bag, and it's a Christmas market. Santa Claus is going to be there, the Grinch is going to be there, Mrs. Claus is going to be there reading books, so I think it's going to be really good. And it's at an elementary school, so the traffic is my kind of criteria, people, whatever. It's the age group that I need. And there are a few other crochet vendors, but none of them are in that big room with me. Another one was plushies, but it was worsted weight plushies. And there's a different market for worsted weight and plushies. And then one had like hats and things. So I think it's going to do good. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll recap that one too next week. And then after that, I won't have a market until the beginning of December, and it's a 2-day market. I've never done a 2-day one, so I'm nervous about that. So anyways, I got to market prep. I got to make more penguins, because I sold all my penguins except one. I sold out of little possums. I think I sold 2 Pokeballs. Pokeballs always sell really well. I need to make some more axolotls. They always sell really well. I need to finish those dragons I started. I made 5 at the market. I think I said that. I need to make more turtles, because I only have 2 big turtles left. I sold 2 brontosauruses, so I need to make more of those. It's always the same things that sell, but I'm going to keep making them if people keep buying them. So anyways, if you have any questions or comments about the patterns that I shared pictures of, hopefully, let me know, and I will let you know what they are. Most of them are free, typically, but sometimes they're paid for patterns. But yeah, if you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'm going to be market prepping this week, so wish me luck for this next comment market, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye, guys.